Welcome to the STIHL Timbersports Series. I'm Tommy Sanders. We are flying, and get this, a 1929 Ford tri-motor passenger airplane. I think that qualifies as vintage aircraft. Of course, we're in a place known for its vintage aircraft and aircraft of all kinds. We're in OshKosh, Wisconsin, known the world over for its experimental aircraft association, Air Venture. Big fly-in, 750,000 people come here from all over the world and assemble on the grounds below. Right now, though, those grounds have been transformed into the Ducks Unlimited Great Outdoors Festival. That's where our Timber Sports event is this year. We get a pretty good view of it from up here in the tri-motor, but John Hughes is down there with a little closer look.
Hey, Tommy. Well, while you're up there flying, the guys down here are getting ready for qualifying day number 4. This is the Sweat and Bullets day. On the bubble, we have Arden Koga Jr. and Mike Sullivan. We know where the big boys are at the top. Jason Wynyard, David Bolstead, and Matt Bush. These guys are assured of getting to the finals. Arden and Mike need all the points they can get, and the very first event today is the springboard. Let's get it going.
First heat of the springboard chop, a couple of guys with probably 50 years experience competitive chopping between them. Mel Lentz and Carson Bosworth. Both of these guys at different points in their careers have really dominated in this particular event right here, the springboard chop.
And they both wanted a good start like this. 4 hit holes to get going. Couple of extra blows for Melvin, making sure he's got a good base to stand on to cut this block. 11 inches of white pine. They want to get 2/3 of the way through on their good hand, because when they get done, they've got to turn and cut over their opposite side. Switch hitting in baseball is the best way to look at that.
A lot of wind here in OshKosh today.
Now they're both doing the slicing technique.
Yeah,
2
Carson.
blows for Carson. Unofficially 43.64, a pretty good time for this guy.
We are ready now to begin our next heat. Coming up, Matt Bush and Jason Wynyard.
Now speaking with Jason this morning, he said he's got a little lower back trouble. I said, are you going to slack off knowing that you're in the finals? He said, no, I got to keep going after it. I want to be the king going in there.
3, 2, 1, go!
Certainly had a great performance in Memphis, Tennessee at our first qualifiers. Matt Bush on the right there, former champion of the STIHL Timbersports Series back in '95.
Jason was a bit of a surprise at the Great Outdoor Games this year, placing 2nd in the springboard. He wasn't expecting to do that well, but it looks like he's got a good board set on top there, and he's a very strong axeman when he gets up there, and it's a good-looking piece of wood, too. Matt's got a sagging board. That's not good for him. Jason's got a strong one, but we've seen Matt still compete very well on a board like that. Now they turn together the slicing technique. Who did enough work in the front? Matt
It's going to be Matt Bush.
That's a good race, but unofficially a time of 45.41. We always talk about making sure you have a good board to stand on top. Matt took 2 shots getting the board in the hole, and then it was sagging. Jason got his in, but he was laboring getting him up there. Took a little extra time, but Matt had done enough work in the front, and that slicing technique still strong enough to get the win.
Well, a time officially of 45.21 for Matt Bush. That moves him into 2nd place in the springboard competition. 1st place still being held down by Carson Bosworth at 43.34. Dale Ryan from the Blue Mountains of Australia coming up in this next heat of the springboard chop. Dale Ryan, who in our first outing here in OshKosh finished 2nd in every chop to this man right here, David Bolstead.
But in the second outing at Memphis,
3, 2,
he won
1,
all 3 of the chops. We've seen these guys matched up, and quite often it brings the best out of them. David having trouble there.
A slip there.
His board's sagging terribly. He's got to stay in close. That's great for Ryan. He's got to stay focused now and do his job on top. He's got a good board set. This should be a quick time.
Again, that time to beat 43.34 by Carson Bosworth.
David Bolster's going to be going after it now. He knows he was behind on the climb, but he's very good at cutting both directions, and in fact turns first. Ryan does a slicing technique. How much work did he get done? Bolster's going to get him.
Oh, man. David Bolstead with the win once again in the springboard chop, getting the best of Dale Ryan.
Looked like a mirror image from each side of the arena. These two guys, 2 4-hit holes, but which one had the best one? Dale Ryan. Look at Bolstead. Nearly fell off, and then with the slip, put him behind. But it wasn't enough to keep him behind. He gets up there, switch hitting as good as anyone in the sport, finishing off for a great win in the springboard.
2001 STIHL Timbersport Series champion David Bolstead, official time 40:58, your winner in the springboard competition. When we return, who's the fastest hand in the stock saw? Don't go away. It's the STIHL Timbersport Series brought to you by STIHL. Are you ready for a steal? By Dodge, grab life by the horns. And by Carhartt, original equipment for the active worker. The saws are running when we begin each heat of the stock saw here. Very dangerous stuff, not things you want to try at home, definitely. Look at all the safety equipment these guys are wearing. That should be a good example to anyone. Brad Turner and David Jewett going up against each other in this first heat.
2 cuts in a 16-inch white pine log, lathe turned, so it's the same diameter for everybody. 1 down and 1 up, and 4 inches of wood, and Brad Turner coming out on top. Practice makes perfect, and Brad did a perfect start here. These guys go out and buy the identical chainsaw and practice with it. Then when it came to the end, you could see Brad coming out just ahead of Jewett for a very close win.
Brad Turner going low in the very first heat of the stock saw competition, 11.58 officially. Excellent. Connecticut's Mike Sullivan there in the foreground, certainly a veteran of the STIHL Timbersport Series, needs an excellent performance, perhaps a win, to have a shot at making it to the final 12, who will compete in the championship in Branson, Missouri. He's up against a tough customer here, Harry Burnsworth.
And of course, it's not just Harry he's racing, it's the 8 other guys that are trying to keep him down while he's trying to get up for the points. Quick changeovers for both these guys. Harry's caught him on the upcut.
Harry with a good unofficial time, around 11.8.
Mike Sullivan knew that he needed to win this and get the total 10 points, but he was behind at the changeover, and Harry just pulled away from him on the upcut. Perhaps Mike a little anxious, putting too much weight on the saw and slowing the chain down.
Burnsworth's official time, 11.76, and that's going to probably do it for Mike Sullivan and his long shot at making the final 12, who go to the championship in Branson. Mel Lentz in the foreground, probably the most honored axeman sawyer in America. Jason Wynyard from New Zealand, former Maori Athlete of the Year down there, and that's a big honor, isn't it, John?
He's actually had that honor 3 times, Tommy, which is phenomenal. And of course, he's been the 4th time in a row STIHL Timbersport Series champion.
That reign ended last year when David Bolstead took it, 2001.
And of course, Melvin Lentz has been the all-around champion here in the STIHL Series many times. And this is a great matchup. These guys got a clean start together. Who's going to come out on top?
Oh,
Jason.
it's going to be Jason.
Unofficial time of 12.35, not quite up with the quickest time.
Jason Wynyard's official time, 12.10. So Brad Turner still hanging in there first place with his early heat time of 11.58. Our top 2 qualifiers in the stock saw here, Warwick Hallett from Minnesota, originally from New Zealand, going up against Jerry Gingras of Milan, New Hampshire.
Jerry is an expert with the chainsaws, Tommy, hot saw and stock saw. Obviously, he's an expert here. He was the #1 qualifier, but Warwick Hallett is coming after him. He needs points.
Where Jerry's from, they cut a lot of small wood, so he's a real expert in that. This is probably a little bit bigger than his normal size.
A very clean start for both of them, but I think Jerry did get the edge on him, but not a very good time, 12.35 unofficially.
So our winner today, the last man in the qualifying, Brad Turner of Australia.
Brad, that was an awesome cut. We don't get to see you too often here on the winning dais, but you're always pegging away for the points.
No, it's good to be here, John. You know, I've trained pretty hard for the stock saw the last 2 years, and I've just always managed just to either just miss out or then I had a good run, you know, the last show and just missed out again, and then this one I went in at 10th. And I was like, gosh, you know, a good run, and I could do all right here. And I thought maybe the middle of the field, and then when I lobbed that first wheel off, it come off thick. So I was like, got to make this next one thin, and sure enough, I had a good time.
The term thin to win comes out there. How are you feeling going to Branson now?
Pretty good, you know. I'm going to change a few things when I train between now and Branson, and hopefully at Branson I'll do really well.
All right, congratulations. We'll see you in the finals.
Thanks, John.
Brad Turner, the young man from Lionville in Victoria, Australia. One of his better performances in a good while here on the STIHL Timbersports Series. A win in the stock saw competition. Stick around. We got the standing block ready to go. Brad Turner not getting to bask in his stock saw victory for very long. He's got to grab the axe, get after the standing block. He's going up against David Jewett.
Both these guys have really developed their styles, their power, and their intensity. The STIHL Timbersports Series brings out the best in all of our athletes.
Dave Jewett does a lot of demonstrations all over the country, represents the sport and represents his own chopping ability pretty good there. 16, 7, 8 unofficially for Jewett.
Wow.
Well, we have a mature legend in the foreground, a young legend in the background there. Mel Lentz versus Jason Wynyard in this standing block heat.
Seen these guys matched up earlier in the day. Here they go again. Jason Wynyard opening with one up and one down. Melvin's put a quick front and turned. It's not going to take many blows in the back for Jason. 2 up and going for the drive. He nearly got it in 5.
Excellent unofficial time for Jason Wynyard, just a shade over 15 seconds.
Speed is great, but power and accuracy. You see Jason square drives before he turns, well over the halfway line. 2 up, and then it nearly comes with his second drive. Bang! There it is. That's a great time for that guy.
Well, if he has back trouble today, it hasn't totally debilitated him. Jason Wynyard moving into the lead, an official time of 14.95. All right, our top 2 qualifiers in the standing block. This is going to be Arden Koger Jr. there up against Dale Ryan, the noted axeman from down under in Australia. Explain to us why we're not seeing David Bolstad in this event today.
That's just amazing. I can't tell you what that is. Maybe he didn't get the luck of the draw, which is a part of this sport. We can do all we can to get the wood even. Ryan put a 7-hit front in that log. Is it going to be enough? He got around well ahead of Jamie. Jamie's staying solid, strong over there. Ryan's going for the drive.
Oh. All right, right about at 16.5 for both of these axemen here. Not going to be good enough. Looks like Jason Wynyard's going to take it in the standing block.
When you're chopping these blocks, the chips are flying, and one flew right in the path of Arden Jr. As he did the turn, he stepped on it and nearly went down. This man is young and strong. He balanced himself on his elbow to get around to complete his cut on the back side of the log. Dale Ryan, his opponent, he only put 5 blows in the front of this log, spending a lot of time trying to drive it off here, getting stuck, pretty anxious and disappointed at his time.
Dale Ryan has been in 4 chopping events since the Timbersports Series came to OshKosh. All 4 times he has finished in the 2nd slot. Let's hope he doesn't get a complex about it. Jason Wynyard with the win here in the standing block chop. We got the underhand coming up next. Don't go away. An all Aussie heat for you here in the underhand chop. Brad Turner from Victoria, Australia, going up against the man from the Blue Mountains out in the west there, Dale Ryan. We are, of course, on runner-up watch with Dale here. If he finishes second, it will be 5 chopping events in a row. Second place for Dale Ryan.
A little different to his second qualifier from Memphis, winning all 3 of the chopping disciplines. You know he's going to come after this one. Up against a fellow countryman, Brad Turner. Brad's a very good underhand cutter also, but Dale's got a good lead on him here. Ripping out those big chips, going for the drive already. And he's got it clean. Dale's happy with that one.
He'll take over the lead with that one. There goes Brad. So at least for the moment, Dale is in first place. Unfortunately for him, 2 more heats yet to come. Carry head in the foreground, Dion Lane, whom Dale Ryan pointed out to as a guy who's going to be one of the monsters here in the underhand chop today. He usually is.
Ready. Contestants ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, look at this wood flowing out of Kerry Head's log there. This will be a quick cut for him, but Dion turns with him. Dion put a mishit in when he opened the back of that log. Is it going to cost him? Oh, he went for the drive, and look at that time, Tommy. Unofficially 14.72 seconds. A great front for Dion, but look at the first blow in the back. It was a scoop. He had to put it in again. I wondered whether it might have cost him, but he did his clearing blows on the bottom and just about got it in 2 drives for a great time.
Dion Lane, 24 years old, but fully grown, no doubt about that, takes over the lead in the underhand 14-6-7. David Bolstad, our winner last time in the underhand chop, going to try it one more time. The top qualifier today going up against Jason Wynyard. Last time he won the STIHL TimberSports Championship, 2000.
3, 2, 1, go!
But boy, these guys are going after it.
Time to beat 14-6-7.
David Bolstad stepped off the log. He lost his balance on the turn. Is it going to affect him? He's going for the drive already. He's got him. What a great cut by this man.
Unofficially, though, over 16 seconds, Dion Lane is going to be your winner in the underhand.
Dion, you said you haven't done this for a while, man. This is a good interview to have, isn't it?
Oh, great, John. Over the last couple of years, I've been thereabouts, and recently I've been picking up seconds and thirds, a bag full of seconds, but to come out today, I think they let me off with one.
Yeah, well, you had a bit of a mistake in the turn there.
Yeah, I tried to turn a little bit too quick. I knew I had pretty good wood. I put a beautiful 8 in the front, went around the back, and I went to try to get her an 8, and got a little bit excited, I think, and I give them a chance, but they give it back.
Well, a great cut for the finish. Congratulations.
Thanks, John. Thank you.
Dion Lane, all the pros say he has a ton of potential, realizing it here with the win in the underhand chop. Let's take a look at our Carhartt Chopping Championship points there, and the man on top, despite all the second places, he's hung in there enough. Dale Ryan is our Carhartt champ. Coming up next, the single buck. Here is Matt Bush, another one of the pros at this event, going up against Arden Koger Jr., Charleston, West Virginia.
These guys work together. They help each other's out. And now Matt's going for it on his own. But Arden Koger Jr. has been really coming on in the single soaring, cutting a lot of wood on that pull stroke. But Matt's just mowing away at this log, Tommy.
Gonna beat
Look
Bush.
at this. 13.45 unofficially. That'll take the lead.
Matt Bush taking control of that heat and control of the competition, moves into the lead. Official time of 13.32 for Matt Bush. To the right, Carson Bosworth. To the left, David Jewett of Pittsford, New York. Long time, one of the world's top performers in the big crosscut saws.
Super Dave Jewett, and a man that's like a stick of dynamite. You watch Carson explode into this log. Jewett running a J.P. Mercier saw. Carson running a Jim Taylor saw. Beautiful technique from both these guys.
What a great race we have here. Going to be David Jewett just by a hair, and he's going to take the lead as well.
This looks like the Super Dave of old. This guy is stroking beautifully through this log. The wedge from J.P. Mercier going in there, the oil applied. Dave's stroking just like he used to, a punch in the air with a fist. He's happy. He knows he put up a great cut there.
Well, David Jewett hoping to restate his position on top of the single buck mountain. A great time there. He takes the lead with a 12:39. Two brothers-in-law will have a go of it in the final go-around in the single bucking competition. Dion Lane and Jason Wynyard. Jason Wynyard, whose back has been deteriorating through the course of this competition here today.
Tommy, it's so bad he couldn't even come out for the interview after winning the standing. He couldn't get up off the chair, but we see he's out here now. He may have had someone work on his back a little bit. I'm not expecting great things from him, but we do expect him from Dion Lane. He's cutting on the same log that Jewett just put up that 12.39 second cut on.
Check out the speed. 12:39 is the time he has to beat.
And Wynyard beats him. Bad back and all.
Oh,
Unofficial time for Jason Wynyard, 12.26. We've had some fantastic races and real close finishes, and this is another one. Watch the end stroke here. It looks like Dion might have just pipped Jason. But we have a second view in super slow-mo. Jason Wynyard actually came out the victor here on half a pull stroke. The disc drops at the end, just beating Dion Lane.
racing as good as it gets. Congratulations to Jason Wynyard and Dion Lane. Get your earplugs in. When we get back, it's the hot saw competition. It's the STIHL TimberSports Series brought to you by STIHL. Are you ready for a steal? By Dodge. Grab life by the horns. And by Carhartt. Original equipment for the active worker. We are back in OshKosh before our final event. Before we head to Branson, Missouri for the championships of the series, we'll have a list of qualifiers for you here in just a few minutes. Right now, the hot saw competition in the first heat between Dale Ryan of Australia and Rick Halverson from just over the way there in Alma Center, Wisconsin.
Now, the rules here are pretty basic. It's a 19-inch log. You get 6 inches in which to make 3 cuts, down, up, and down. And Dale Ryan has a great cut there.
Boy, Rick had him for a moment there, but he made that one miscue on the final down cut.
Warm up your saws.
Dale Ryan with the lead in the hot saw competition. Coming up next, 2 former world record holders, Gaston Dufouré and David Bolstad.
Gaston Dufouré, a 250 Honda, a motor that he built himself. And of course, Bolstad using the Rotex.
Hands on the wood. Timer's ready. Contestants ready. Get set.
All sorts of problems for Bolstad. He missed the start and missed it on the upcut.
Was he just a bit too over anxious at the start?
Quite possibly feeling like maybe with Jason's problems, he had a chance of taking the overall here, but that cost him dearly.
6.32 officially. The lead now goes to Gaston. They are our 2 top qualifiers in the hot saw, Harry Burnsworth, and how about the learning curve on the hot saw for Dion Lane?
He's pretty relaxed. He just looked up at us with a big smile on his face saying, here she goes. Now, Dion qualified with a time of 5.64. And at that stage, it was only 1/100th of a second outside the world record. Since then, Matt Bush has creamed it with 5.197.
Which we saw last time here on the STIHL Timbersports series.
You know, the thing is that both these guys here could probably beat that record too. So anything can happen here. We're up for a great cut. I just hope Dion can keep it together and make sure he gets 3 complete discs.
Timer's ready. Contestants ready. Get set.
Oh, it's all Harry here today. Look at that time. Excellent. Well under 6 seconds. The champ is going to be Harry Burnsworth. Take a look at that official time, 5.80, much faster than the rest of the field for our champion, Harry Burnsworth, in the hot saw. Our steel sawing champ is Dave Jewett today, and one of the ways he did it was to qualify for all the sawing events here in OshKosh. Our overall points getter today was Jason Wynyard. And of course, our overall series points getter, top place also taken by Jason Wynyard, so he will lead the field of 12 into our championship in Branson, Missouri. Take a look at that field. Look at 12th place, Arden Koger Jr. just beating out his friend, Mike Sullivan. We got a great field set. It will be some tremendous competition. We'll see you at the championships next time on the STIHL Timbersports series. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPNOutdoors.com.